beautiful people, and welcome back to Wine Chat. My name is Emma and I'm a certified sommelier with a mission to spread wine knowledge and to help you drink better. Now, whilst I am waiting for my sense of smell and taste to 100% return to normal, I thought it would be a nice idea to take a trip down memory lane and have a look at some of the wines that really helped to shape my wine journey and my wine career. Now, these wines may not be the most expensive wines in the world, they may not be the most incredible or the most well-made, although they are some pretty special wines. But they are wines that really sparked an aha moment and kept me interested in wine from the very first day to even quite recently. So, without further ado, let's take a trip down Emma's memory wine lane and let's chat about it. The first wine is Pol Roger, the non-vintage brut champagne. And now this is a very special wine for me as I tried it right at the start of my wine journey. It was during one of my very first ever wine courses with the Glengarry Wine Academy in New Zealand. And it was the first time that I learned about the history and the methods of making champagne, and then also trying one of the Grand Marquis of Champagne. This is the champagne that really set me up for a lifelong love affair with champagne. Made from equal parts of Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier and Chardonnay, the winery is based in Épinay. They have some of the coolest and deepest cellars within Épinay, which is said to help contribute to the incredibly fine bubbles of Pol Roger champagne. They are one of the smallest Grand Marquis, but in my opinion, consistently make one of the best non-vintage champagnes of all the large houses. It's a fuller, richer style of champagne, beautifully balanced, finishing with a bright purity of nectarine, lemon, and spice. Wine number 2 is J.LASSALLE Blanc de Blanc Champagne. And yes, another champagne wine, but this time it is from a smaller grower producer. I was first introduced to J.LASSALLE at a grower champagne tasting at Glengarry Wines in New Zealand. The wines are so pure, elegant and fresh that you never want to stop drinking them. The one thing that made it really stand out to me is that it is run by all the women of the LaSalle family. It was originally established in 1942 by Jules LaSalle in Montargis, and he became known for his signature style of pure and elegant champagnes. Unfortunately, he passed away in 1982, which is when his wife Olga and their daughter CHATEAU took over, transforming it into the women-run estate that we know today. Their motto is Une femme, un esprit, un style, which translates to one woman, one spirit, one style. Although all of their wines are absolutely incredible, and actually we pour their rosé by the glass at my work now, which I absolutely love, but my favorite wine from them is their Blanc de Blanc. It is made from 100% Chardonnay from Premier Cru vineyards in the Montargis. The Blanc de Blanc from J.LASSALLE is only made in truly great years, and honestly, it is such a stunning wine. Wine number 3 is MASSETO. Now, people love to hate on the Merlot grape, which I think is completely unfair. And then you'll hear people saying things like, oh, just wait until you try the great wines of Pomerol, the great Saint-Emilion Grand Crus. Wait, have you tried Petrus? And let me tell you, now in my opinion, and I have tried all those wines, that if you want the best Merlot in the world, you need to look to Italy, you need to look to Bulgaria in Tuscany, and you need to try MASSETO. If I had to drink only one red wine for the rest of my life, I would choose this. Now, I've sold it a couple of times at a restaurant I used to work at, where we sold it per bottle for a cool £2,000 for the 2006 vintage. So it's definitely not your everyday red wine, although if it is, I think we need to be friends, but it is an incredibly special wine. The wine is powerful, opulent, and very silky, yet with a very full body as well. Think bright, vivid red fruit, a gentle spice, toasty oak, all tied together with a lovely, savory kind of green olive finish. It's one of those kind of wines where no matter what you're doing, no matter where you are when you try it, once you take a sip, you just stop and you are absolutely blown away at how incredible, lush, complex, elegant, just delicious this wine is. And wine number 4 is Chateau Pichon Longueville Comtesse de LALANDE. When I first arrived in London and I got my first ever sommelier job, I'll admit now that I didn't know very much about French wine, and I knew even little about Bordeaux wines. Thankfully, that has all changed, and that started with me trying my first ever great Bordeaux wine. I still remember the day, the moment when I sold my first ever bottle of Chateau Pichon Comtesse, and the first time I ever got to try it, and I remember thinking, wow, this is exactly what people mean when they talk about a great Bordeaux. Although my first ever bottle of Chateau Pichon Comtesse was a 2012, and at the time, and even now, is still so young and needs to stay in the bottle for at least another 5 to 10 years, I remember thinking it's so bold and vibrant. It has this delicious, like really ripe black fruit, cedar, toasty spice, and it's just everything that you would want in a fabulous bottle of Bordeaux. Wine number 5 is Te Mata Estate in Hawke's Bay, New Zealand, the ZARA VIOGNIER. Yes, I had to include a wine from New Zealand on this list. It wouldn't feel right if I didn't. I still remember the first time I ever tried the ZARA VIOGNIER, and I was working at a Bisu restaurant in New Zealand not long before I left to London, and I remember trying it, and it was just so oily and creamy and perfumed. Think white peach, nectarine, jasmine, and I couldn't help but think, oh my god, I did not realize that little old New Zealand could make wines this incredible. To this day, it remains one of my favorite Viogniers in the world, and Te Mata Estate are definitely one of my favorite wineries. Te Mata Estate is a great family-run winery based in Hawke's Bay in New Zealand, and all of their wines are just concentrated, really well made, and honestly, just super delicious. The ZARA Viognier comes from New Zealand's oldest Viognier vines and is named after Zara Buck, the firstborn of the 3rd generation of the Te Mata Estate's Buck family. Thankfully, in the UK, you can actually get it in a whole lot of places, especially specialist cellars in Brixton, who have the greatest range of New Zealand wines in the Northern Hemisphere, and the fantastic wine shop Hedonism in Mayfair. Well team, that is all from me today. I would love to know in the comments below what wines kind of really shaped your wine journey, gave you an aha moment, or just really changed your life. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to subscribe for more upcoming wine education. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And remember, drink better, be better.